How is it for you when you're with your wife and you're out on, maybe this has happened, maybe it hasn't happened, where a woman approaches you and it's from back in the days of relationship? Has that ever happened to you?
We've only bumped into one girl that I've dated from the past.
That means you don't get out much.
No, we don't.
Okay.
I don't go out.
You don't risk it.
And the girls I dated, I never dated anybody in the business.
Really?
No.
'Cause that's
I've gone, yes. I've dated them, but I never slept with anybody inside.
Ain't never slept with anybody?
Nobody
Terrence.
inside the business.
Never.
No, nobody. I dated Naomi
Wow.
Campbell. I've gone out with, I'm not even going to run the list, but I've gone out with a lot of girls. I've slept in the same bed with them, but I would not, I don't know why I wouldn't attack them. I wouldn't do that. That was
So you're in the business. You're in Hollywood. It's a business where you see everybody is, for the most part, you'd see they hook up. It's a hookup culture. It's you're shooting a movie. You're gone for 30 days. I think it was Burt Reynolds. Who was it that wrote a book? Jolene. Who's the singer of Jolene? What's her name? Dolly Parton writes, I think, in a book. She says, we're doing a movie. You could fact check this, but I read this either in her book or somewhere. Her and Burt Reynolds are doing a movie, and they had never been together before. And she just says, listen, let's get it knocked out of the way so we don't even think about it. And then boom, they go handle their business, and then they do the movie. Could have been her or him or somebody else. But for you to say nobody ever, it's not like you didn't have the chances. You're a good-looking guy.
I dated a lot of girls. I dated a lot of them. But at the time, still, I was battling between being a Jehovah's Witness or trying to study as a Jehovah's Witness. But there's a feeling of what is your prey. You know who has that interaction with you, and the girls are beautiful.
No fantasy of wanting to be a Hollywood couple, like what if her and you never thought about it that way?
Nah, that was never on the table for me.
You see Jay-Z with Beyonce. You see these couples where it's like,
I had a chance to date Beyonce, early on, and we had a conversation, and I ended up talking to the other girl inside of, Destiny, the girl with the blue eyes. And I remember Beyonce looking over at me, and I think that's why she picked me to do that dance when she did the kind of striptease dance that we did at the BETs or whatever, to show me what I had lost. But I was attracted. There was a moment in which I felt something there. But,
with Beyonce.
Yeah, but that was long before she was with Jay-Z. That was very, very long ago.
I mean, they were big back then when they were coming up. They were very big when they were coming up.
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child, yeah.
That's what it was.
Beyonce, yes. I'm actually very surprised that that's not something you ever did. So it was always girls. So how did you protect yourself? As a guy that's in movies, you're famous, you're a celebrity, girls are throwing themselves at you. How do you protect yourself from not getting in trouble the way a lot of the other guys got in trouble?
Well, you don't crap where you eat at the same time. I knew that all of those things come back, and the people inside the business, how many of them were hooking up. I didn't want to get involved with that. I didn't want somebody touching.
Was a girl ever surprised when you said no to her?
Yeah, a few girls was like, one girl was like, don't you want to know what it's like to be inside of me? And I said, I'm already inside of you. We're already communicating, I'm already there with you. But it wasn't we didn't have that passion. The passion wasn't there. When I met my wife, the entire world came together, and, I understood eternity from meeting her. I didn't feel that with the other women, So I had girls that I would hang out with. Everybody have when you're growing up, you got some. And today I sit back and I think that's somebody's mother now. That's somebody's grandmother now. And the stuff I was asking them to do. I mean, that's the regret. That's the regret. You just, but you deal with it.
Yeah, does it at all bother you when he talks about this stuff, or no? Not at all. I'm amazed by that. Okay. Today, they hit on him with you there. How do you react to it? How do you handle it?
I mean, I handle it with grace and a smile,
I'm
like
flattered.
guys try and talk to her.
I mean, you have a beautiful wife, so it's not like, both of you guys are.
And we're not even married. We got divorced 12 years ago.
You told me last time,
Yeah.
but it's pretty much, but you
This
guys
is
are
my
together.
one. This is my one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my one.
So it's not the main squeeze. It is the only squeeze.
It's the only squeeze.
Okay, that's
It's
good.
the only squeeze because we're starting to look like each other. You know, she's actually become more me.
That is so funny.
You see couples,
Yeah.
you see people with their dogs.
Yeah.
That's
The
the law
dogs
of
for
reflection.
sure. Yeah.
You look like the person that you are with. You behave like the person
Yeah.
you're with.
Yeah.
So she's changed me a lot. But, guys come up and try and flirt with her at other times, and she's so kind about it. She's like, wow, you're handsome, but not in this lifetime. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next
She'll say that.
Yeah, maybe the next one.
Not in this lifetime, maybe in the next one.
Yeah, and it's a nice way of, being flattered and also being let down gently. Yeah.
So, marriage and parenting, both questions. When I'm building my national business, I was building an insurance agency, so I was on the road 6 months out of the year, going to all those other places. You're on the road all the time. When you do movies, I'm assuming, I don't know the life, I'm assuming you're on the road making movies,
Yeah.
How do you manage that and parent and relationship, marriage? How do you manage those? It's got to be super difficult.
Well, the hardest thing is when you take your family on the road with you, you're not able to completely commit to the character. You're trying to, but you come home and then you have to be husband, you have to be father, you have to be all of those things. But when you don't have your family there, you're kind of open to the wind. Everybody wants to hang out with you. So I've had to, my wife, she'll let me go to the job the first few days by myself so I can lock in, maybe a week. But then after that, she comes. But she gives me a lot of space, and sometimes she'll give me a separate place, because they'll provide a house for me, for the family. They'll provide housing for me, but then she will get a separate place where the kids are, and sometimes will let me be over there if I've got to go and do the work I need to do. But that's the only way I found that after 2 weeks apart, we change our chemistry, where we used to be like, oh, yeah, I'm so in love. I'm so locked in. I'm so everything. But as males, we still produce, a healthy male still produce about 1,500 sperm per heartbeat. So that desire that need to share and empty the storehouse is always there. And after 2 weeks, that can become a problem.
The lines you use, I love it. Listen, I'd love to empty my storehouse with you today, sweetheart. Can you imagine?
I have a delivery to make.
Yeah. So how do you manage? It is a real thing. I mean, if you're a man, it's a real thing. My guys would ask me, Pat, how do you manage to, when you have to empty the storehouse? How did you do it?
You can either take the route of self-abuse where you end up despising yourself afterwards, or you can, all right, I got to go work out, or I need my wife to be here. So you go home. I'm quick to fly back home. But most of the time, my one stays with me, and it's not like we get to play every day. You get older and if it happens once a week, but now we spend so much more time communicating. Just touching her leg on my leg at night is what will help me go to sleep, maybe at 57, this is just what happens, but it's a good thing now. Hi, everyone. My name is Terrence Howard. I'm an actor, but in the field of science also. So if you would like to connect with me, you can connect with me on Minect. The QR code is down below, and let's have a great conversation.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.